How to create an S3 bucket using AWS CLI. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Sergey, and today we'll create your first IAM user, configure AWS CLI profile, and create another S3 bucket, but using the AWS CLI. Alright, let's jump into the AWS console and create our first IAM user. I'm already logged into my AWS console, so let me navigate to the IAM service. So I'll type IAM in the search box and then click on IAM, right? And here we are in the IAM dashboard. And as you can see, this gives us some news, some overview of our account, like information and stuff like that. So now let's create our first user. And to do that, I'll click on users on the left pane. Then I'll find and click on the Create User button. All right, let's click on it. Well, first I need to give this user a name. And I'll call this user, well, Demo S3 user, right? Well, this makes it clear and what this user is intended for. And it's kind of always a good practice to use descriptive name for your resources, right? Next, I need to choose how this user will access AWS. Since we want to use this user with AWS CLI, we won't be checking provide user access to the AWS management console, right? Since we don't need it and we don't need access console to be using AWS CLI, right? Now I'll click next to move to the permission step, right? Here, at this step, we defined what our user can actually do. AWS provides several ways to assign permissions, but the easiest method for beginners is using managed policies, right? So I'll select attached policies directly, and then let's go ahead and search for S3 related policies, and well, it gives us some kind of a bunch of S3 related policies, but for our purpose, S3 full access will be just fine. This managed policy gives our user complete access to S3, so this user will be able to create buckets, upload files, delete objects, and well, everything S3 related. So, well, by the way, in a production environment, you'd want probably to follow the principles of least privileges, only giving users the minimum permissions that they need. But for learning purposes, S3 full access is pretty good. So I've checked that box, and I'm gonna scroll down and click next. So now let's review what we are creating. So we have our username, we have our permission policy, which is Amazon S3 full access, and we have optional text. Okay, now let's go ahead and click create a user to finalize this. Excellent. Our user has been created successfully. Now we need to create access keys so our user can authenticate with the AWS CLI. So to do that, we need to go ahead and click on our user's name, right? And here we have a summary page of our user, okay? So let's navigate to the security credentials tab, right? And here we see like various security related settings, and we need to scroll right to access keys. And to create access keys, we need to go ahead and click create access key, and the use cases will be command line interface. Well, this is exactly what we're going to be using. We have a warning for alternatives. Maybe we can use a Cloud Shell or stuff like that. We just go ahead and confirm, and then click next. So here, there's a description value, description tag value, which we can say like S3 CLI demo, and then create access key. Just go ahead and click on that. And there you go. Our access keys have been created. But this is an important thing that you got to remember. Uh, this is the only one time AWS will show you the secret keys here. So you must download this CSV file, clicking on this button, download CSV file, or you can go ahead and copy and paste your key, your access key and your secret access key in some kind of a secure place. So for now, I'll go ahead and download this CSV file and then click done. All right. Okay. Now I have programmatic access credentials for our user. Now let's switch to our terminal and configure the AWS CLI to use these credentials. Well, I assume you already have the AWS CLI installed, and if you don't, check out my previous video on AWS CLI installation. So I've already opened my terminal, so let's go ahead and configure our first profile. All right, to configure AWS CLI profile, we got to run the following command: AWS configure, and then the profile name, and we call this demo S3. Okay, now it asks us for like some pieces of information. The first one is AWS access key ID. Okay, let's go ahead and open this file. I'm going to open it in another screen and copy this access key ID here into the terminal. You then hit the enter. Now it asks for AWS secret key ID, right? Let's go ahead and copy and paste it here. For the default region, I'll choose the European North 1 region, and for the output, I'll use JSON. It's kind of a very easy to read and stuff like that. All right, now I have configured this profile, and let's double check. It's here. Configure profile list. AWS configure list profiles. There you go. Our profiles is configured. Now let's go ahead and check if our credentials are working. For that purpose, we run the following command: get STS, get caller identity, and the profile name demo S3. There you go. It works. So this output shows the user ARN, account ID, user ID, confirming that our authentication is working correctly. Great. And now is the most exciting part. Let's create an S3 bucket using our CLI profile. And there is a reminder. S3 bucket names, they must be globally unique across all AWS accounts. And well, basically they must be DNS friendly. This is just a reminder. All right, since our profile is working, let's check the S3 buckets that we have. If you remember, at our previous lesson, we created one, right? For that purpose, we run this command S3ls, and it should return an S3 bucket. Of course, I forgot profile. All right, demo S3. And there you go. We have a cool DevOps bucket 7979. Okay, now we'll create another one, but with a different number tag or number suffix. All right, for the purpose to create an S3 bucket, we run the following command: S3mb, which stands for make bucket, and then the bucket name. Cool DevOps, but this time will be 7878, and don't forget the profile here, demo S3. Okay, we have a message that our bucket has been created, and AWS confirms that. Now let me verify again, listing the buckets. Okay, S3ls and the profile name. Demo S3. We have now two buckets in our account. All right, we can also verify that navigating to our AWS console, and to do that, we can go ahead and type S3 in the search bar, click on S3, which we found here, and just take a look at our account, and there you go. We have two S3 buckets in our account, right? Let's go back to our console, our terminal. So let's do a quick test to make sure our permissions are working correctly, and I'll create a simple text file to upload it to our bucket, all right? And I'll write this command to create a file. It will be a simple command, hello, from AWS CLI, and we'll redirect it to a test-file.txt. Let's double check it's here. Yes, it is, which is great. Now let's go ahead and upload this file to our S3 bucket. Okay, let's run this command. Okay, AWS S3, then CP, which means CP, not SP. CP, which means copy, then the file name, and our S3 bucket, which is cool DevOps bucket 7878 profile demo S3. Of course, demo S3. There you go. Our file has been successfully uploaded. Double check it, right? AWS S3 ls, and then S3, right? S3 cool DevOps bucket 7878. The profile name will be demo S3. Okay, if I do not miss it, right? And let's see what we have here. Again, same typo, and there you go. We have our file there, and now in our S3 bucket uploaded, right? So our test is successful. So guys, so far so good. And before we wrap it up, let me show how to clean up those resources, right? And by the way, we cannot delete our S3 bucket just right off the bat. Well, let me show you. AWS S3 RB, that means remove bucket, and our bucket name, cool DevOps bucket 7878 profile demo S3, and we're getting an error because this bucket is not empty. We cannot delete it right off the way. So before that, let's delete the file that we uploaded before. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and run the following command. Instead of RB, we run ORM. We use subcommand ORM, which is remove, then the bucket name, cool DevOps bucket 7878 profile. Okay. The longer of the command, the better your typing skills, I suppose. Demo S3. Right. But actually I didn't remove anything, even though there was any error, but I need to remove the exact file, test-file.txt. Okay, now I have successfully deleted the file, and now I can remove the bucket itself. All right, let's try to find this command and run it. Okay, now we have a confirmation that our 7878 bucket has been deleted. Okay, we can just double check that by listing. If I don't forget the profile, right? Okay, S3ls profile demo S3. And that's a wrap up. Today, we covered a lot of ground. We learned what IAM is and why it's essential for AWS security, created our first IAM user with programmatic access. We attached a managed policy to grant S3 permissions. We generated and securely stored access keys. We configured an AWS CLI profile and successfully created and tested an S3 bucket from the command line. If this video helped you out, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more AWS tutorials. Drop a comment below with what AWS topics you'd like me to cover next. Well guys, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.